Oh, 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 oh. Sun's out, dashboards on display. July is here and we're ready to slay. Grab your Viz and bring the flare. We got heat waves rising everywhere. The data's hot, the vibes are chill, and we've got legends coming through. Settle in tight, the energy's strong, cause things are heating up at the public tug.
All right. Full tunes on the public tug. Thank you for doing that, Lisa. And welcome to the public tug. We are so excited that you are stepping up to be the host of our tug. And we look forward to great things in the year or years to come, as long as you can help us do that. So again, welcome everyone to the July Tableau Public Tug. Lisa Trescott is one of our new hosts. We're sad to say that Ant has had to step away. So we're glad to have Lisa. All right, you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, thank you. Ant left some big shoes to fill, but thank you for inviting me to join your leadership team. I'm excited to be here as my first meeting as host of the Tableau Public Tug. As Eric said, my name is Lisa Trescott. I'm a research analyst at Miracosta College, which is a community college in North County, San Diego. And I support all of our student equity and our student services there. I'm also a Tableau visionary, a public ambassador. I co-lead the California Community Colleges Tableau user group. So this will be my second tug. I think they felt like I was cheating on them when I told them I was joining this leadership team. And then back in 2021, I won Iron Viz. I like to viz about fun stuff. You're not going to see a lot of serious topics on my Tableau Public profile. I like to keep it light since I do this kind of as a hobby. So again, just thank you all so much for having me. I'm excited to be the new host. And we have a great lineup today. We have three amazing people joining us. We have the godmother of Tableau Public, Ellie Fields. So we're going to hear about the origin story of Tableau Public and how it came to be. We have Harim Jung. She's going to show us behind the scenes of her CO2 emissions dashboard that's powered by Tableau Agent. And we have Sebastine Amede. He's going to go behind the scenes of his real-world fake data, or RWFD Viz, focused on their solar energy data set. So we're excited to have you all here. Our other hosts today are going to be Preeti Lodha, Agata Ketterick, and Eric Howard. And I'm going to turn it over first to Preeti to introduce herself. Preeti?
Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to have you in the leadership group. Hello, everyone. I'm Preeti Lodha. I'm currently, I was going to say my title, and then I realized I got promoted. So yay. I am the Director of Data Analytics and Operations in Higher Education. I am located in Boston. I currently serve as the Tableau Public Ambassador. So really excited about it. Shortly, Lisa is going to share exciting news about the Tableau Ambassador nominations. So keep an eye out on that. And similar to, I would say, I tend to visualize more on the stuff that I am interested in. So I was interested in learning about if my spending was on par with what Americans spend. And I went and built a very simple bump chart, sort of a dashboard. And surprisingly, apparently a million others had the same question. So do check that out if you are on my Tableau Public page. That is all from me.
All right, we're going to turn it over to Agata.
Hey everyone, I'm Agata Ketterick. I'm a 5-time Tableau ambassador. I've been using Tableau since 2017, and today I lead the BI visualization team at Gannett, which is a media company best known for publishing USA Today and a network of local newspapers across the US. I love making vizzes about all sorts of things. Some of the ones you see here, a personal one about how many times my kids said mom during a week, which is probably one of my favorite of all time. And things like the social or the cost of childcare across the US. I have lots of maps on my Tableau Public. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
How did you track that? The mom viz? Because I wonder that all the time.
Yeah, no, it was literally just like on a piece of paper.
Tallies.
It was so
I love
painful, and I would never do it again. And I don't know how good the data quality is, but I tried my best.
I love it.
I'd be listening to them, and would I be listening to the content of what they were saying, or just how many times they said no?
Amazing. All right, Eric, take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Howard. I'm not a Tableau Public Ambassador. I'm a Tableau TUG Ambassador. I'm a multi-TUG leader, so I help lead this TUG and the Nashville Tableau Users Group. Our claim to fame there was we were one of the only TUGs running during COVID. So we were one of the first virtual TUGs for COVID, and got a really large following. Now we're totally in person. We had almost 30 people show up at our TUG last Tuesday night, had a really good meeting. And I'm a Tableau speaker. I've had a 10-year goal of speaking at Tableau conference, and I actually realized it this year. So it was really neat seeing all the other ambassadors and visionaries, and actually got to enjoy the keynote speaker with Tableau Tim this year. So that was a highlight for me. So yeah, thank you for joining today.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So here's a quick overview of the agenda. Like I said, we have Ellie Fields kicking it off in the community spotlight. Then we have Harim, a swag drawing, and then Sebastine will close us out. And so without further ado, we want to welcome Ellie Fields to the Tableau Public TUG. Ellie's the CEO and founder of Ridge AI, which is a startup that's looking to reinvent the presentation layer of data on the web. She was formerly the Chief Product and Engineering Officer at SalesLoft, where she led development for a sales workflow platform that put AI in action in a tight loop to drive results. And then prior to SalesLoft, she was at Tableau for 12 years. She led product strategy and engineering for mobile apps, collaboration, search, and of course, Tableau Public. She was part of the core team that envisioned, built, and launched Tableau Public and Tableau Online, and she led Tableau's vibrant customer community. She is proud of her nickname, the godmother of Tableau Public. She has an MBA from Stanford University and a BS in engineering and BA in policy from Rice University. So we are very lucky to have you today, Ellie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for welcome.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see you.
Great.
I think first and foremost, we are all probably curious how you got the nickname, the godmother of Tableau Public.
Yeah, it's funny. As you mentioned, I was at Tableau for a long time, and I had different roles. And I joined when we were under 100 people. So if anyone's been at a small company, you do many things. And one of my first roles was to build and launch Tableau Public as the product manager. I was also doing product marketing at the time for the whole company. And I was responsible for growing the initial community and so on. And at some point, I shifted my role completely to a development role, product management and engineering. And for a period of time, I didn't actually have any formal responsibility for Tableau Public. And then later, I kind of picked it up from the development side. And everybody working on Public was extremely collaborative. So there was not any problems there, but there was a whole set of years where I was technically not involved, but I was still checking on the team and looking at the product and, putting business in the community and doing all those things. And so people started calling me the godmother of Tableau Public.
And then it stuck. You still have it.
Yeah. But there were a lot of people involved over the years,
yeah.
And really, really dedicated people throughout the life of up till now and still now.
Yeah, of course. Well, can you tell us a little bit about those early days of Tableau Public and kind of what inspired the initial idea and build behind it?
Yeah, and full disclosure, the idea was from the founders, Christian and Chris, and they, part of why I was hired was to help bring it to life. You have to remember that back in 2008, nobody knew who Tableau was. We couldn't get covered in the Seattle press, never mind anything else. And, the company wasn't taking huge funding rounds, which is what the tech press sometimes likes to cover, but was having customer success and building the product and so on. And so there were really two motivations. One was to just get get Tableau in the hands of more people, because we knew that if you tried it, you would see how different it was from the old way. And so there was that kind of like, let's just get more people trying it. We had a free download at that point, but it was time limited and so on. And the other motivation was that people at Tableau really believed that data can make organizations better, make society better. It's an important part of the dialogue of pretty much everything we do today. It's not the only part, but it is an important part. And the idea of making a tool available out there for the public that they could use for agriculture policy or sports or whatever they felt like doing, or how many times somebody calls you mom, was really attractive, because that there wasn't a way for people to converse with data. And I always think about working with data as a way of communicating and thinking, right? You might think by writing a document, you might think by creating a public viz. And so we thought it was really important to get that out there in the world.
Yeah, it's become such a creative outlet for so many people with data. So it's really amazing. And I know now the community is, obsessed with it. But what was the community's response when Tableau Public first became available? And was there ever kind of a moment where you realized, oh, this is going to be bigger than we thought initially?
It took a little while, I'll be honest. And I think when we first launched it, a lot of people were kind of like, what? And even internally, some of the sales team were like, so I can't sell it? There was definitely, it was a new model, and it hadn't been done. And so the very first few authors were people that were either friends and family. I would watch the traffic. And if somebody published who I didn't know, I would find an address like on their website or something and send them a t-shirt in the mail, a public t-shirt. And so we were really kind of, scrapping to try and get it adopted. But I'll say there were probably two moments that stood out. One was when the Wall Street Journal published a visualization. And, we had some pickup from journalists, especially in the Seattle area, but having a big national paper like that use data as part of a story, which is exactly how it was intended, right, was a huge moment. And, we kind of thought this is big. And the other moment was actually a very small moment when we got a support call through the main support line from somebody who had been using it to publish their league's baseball standings, I believe, just little league, nothing huge. And it was over the weekend, and it had gone down, and everyone was looking for the data on the standings. And so it was, small traffic, small use case. The viz wasn't terribly impressive, but it's great to know that people are using data in their lives, and it's important enough that they'll call the support line. And so, we fixed it and got it back up. But it was a really meaningful moment.
I love that. I love that you knew it was big because it went down. That's awesome. So looking back, what were some of the biggest challenges you would say that you had getting Tableau Public off the ground and kind of adopted, since it was kind of a slow start?
Yeah, it was really just trying to help people understand what this new thing was. And I think finding the right kinds of authors. We initially thought it would be individuals and people in government and bloggers, things like that. And turns out that people in government were not picking it up very quickly. That happened a few years later, especially around COVID. Was a huge time when government picked up the service. Bloggers, you had to find the right ones who cared about data. I mean, much like many of you in your organizations, right? Some people are into it and want to learn more and get data out there, and some are kind of, it's not worth it to them, at least to do the work to publish. One big breakthrough was when we started realizing that journalists didn't really have any tools, and a free tool that was that powerful was really important to them. I mean, they were at the point where they would have designers draw charts for the newspaper, and that still happens from time to time, and occasionally it's appropriate, it's the right response. But if you really want to get people to explore data, obviously that's very inadequate. And so journalists started using it. And I'll tell one other little moment, which you guys might be interested in. We were, Tableau was in Seattle. We had a building in the Fremont neighborhood, and we had our first newspaper published, which had happened at the Seattle Times. The day before, I'd been down there doing a training for a few of the reporters. And I remember one of the reporters I said, when do you think you might publish something? He said, well, I'm going to learn more. I'm going to, get better at it. And maybe in 6 months I'll publish something. Well, next day I walk into the office, and the front page of the Seattle Times online, of course, had a Tableau Public Viz. And what it was about was bike collisions in the Seattle area. And why it was so interesting and fun that day was because that got brought up in at least 4 different meetings I was in, but not because people were excited about public. I mean, they were, but because so many people at Tableau would bike commute to work. And so they'd bring it up and they'd say, yeah, I was commuting in today and this intersection is so bad, and you can see it in the data. And so it was great to see people connecting on, you know, shared topic like that over data.
That's awesome.
It was a long answer to your question, but I thought that was a fun one.
No, I love it. No, I love the backstory. So maybe that was the Viz, but were there any kind of early Tableau Public Vizes that you remember thinking and seeing like, oh, this is it. Like, this is really what we hoped people would do with this platform?
Not one, because it is such a, I mean, those were great moments, and there were a few other great moments, but I think the struggle until then had been that you did need, you needed a huge team to put interactive data on the web and a ton of money. And so the variety was really the win. The fact that it was being used in all these different formats by, you know, big authors with a platform like a newspaper and small authors. And that was really gratifying. That was what we had been going for, is the idea that anybody can take any data that's meaningful to them and share it in a way that's useful to others. That was really important.
Yeah.
And I think still is important.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
So there are millions of Vizes now on Tableau Public, but some people still have not published anything. So if you could give advice to someone who's about to hit publish on their first Tableau Public Viz, what would you say to them?
I'll go back to something Chris Stolte, one of the founders, always used to say about a visualization, and that's that it should answer a question, right? It shouldn't just be data thrown on the screen. Don't start with what data you have, start with what question you have. And so, you know, a lot of us apply that 5-second test right before we publish. And that 5-second test is, does this answer the question? And can I tell in 5 seconds kind of the headline of that answer, even if I might explore it for a long time? Do I have that headline, and is it answering that question?
That's great advice. Yeah, I think a lot of times I personally have spent time on a Viz that meant nothing. So
yeah,
always
and that's part of the process too, right? I mean, that's why, you know, exploring and so on is all part of the process. But if you're going to put it out there for folks, I think it's a good test.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have obviously moved on from Tableau. You spent some time at SalesLoft, and now you are the CEO and founder of Ridge AI. So can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start that company?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm co-founding it with Jeff here, who many of you may know. He's at UW and was behind Trifacta and D3 and Vegalite and a lot of the things that you may be familiar with. You know, I finished my last job, kind of got to a good stopping point, and got back in touch with Jeff, and was inspired to start this partly through some work he had done with browser-based visualization, which makes visualization in the web just a whole lot faster. And then some of the new work coming out with AI as well. And, you know, what the insight that really caused me to start it was the idea that data on the web has not really progressed in the last, you know, bunch of years in the way that the storage layer has and the semantic layer has. Like, there's been all these advancements in data, and yet it still is really hard to get data on the web. I think Tableau Public is still the best example of how to do that. We are targeting companies that are getting data out to their customers, more of an embedded use case. And it's a tough, you know, it's a tough place to be. At SalesLoft, we built our own business by hand just because of, you know, what was available and how much it was and how fit for purpose it was. And as a result, when you look at the web, which is, of course, the universal platform for communication, there's still a dearth of data for important subjects. There's poorly visualized data in many, many cases. And even then, the data is very slow. I mean, Tableau, I think we use the best technology available at the time, but it's server-side rendering, right? And so it's a few seconds load. It may be a couple of seconds on interaction, depending on what you've got backing it. Public Vizes can be a bit faster because they tend to be smaller, but you know, with browser-based technology, you can get sub-second performance, and that really aids the user's comprehension of what's going on and the ability to interact and so on. And so a lot of this was inspired by what I saw at Tableau Public. It's just how powerful it is to share data and trying to take that to the next level.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, maybe you kind of already answered it, but what's most exciting for you about kind of the future of Ridge AI and where you think the company, or where you hope to take the company in the next few years?
Yeah, I think what's most exciting is, with Tableau, we saw a step function in people able to work with data, because we went from this programming centric world, write SQL statements, do a bunch of deep data engineering, to a drag and drop world. And that opened up an order of magnitude of people who could deal with data. I believe we can build in a way that still gives people control, because it is a cycle of visual analysis and you do need the human in the loop, but opens that up even another layer, right? To another order of magnitude. I know that at Tableau, when we look at large deployments, you still had, at a very large deployment, fewer than 1% of people would actually author visualizations. And so again, you're not able to get everybody who needs to get out there. And so I think the potential to make it so much easier, both to build with data and then also explore data, I think is really interesting right now.
I agree. I'm excited to see what you do with it, because I do think presenting data is on the web is really, Tableau Public is kind of the only thing I use. So.
Yeah, where the website, if you don't mind me sharing it, is Ridge.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat,
yes,
and you can start to see. We're very early, but you can see some of the things that we're doing there, and we're working with early customers, and refining what we've got. So excited to keep doing that.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see where it goes. Definitely put it in the chat. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Eric Howard asked a question in the chat. Is there data visits to view on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook?
We are not at that point yet. We're still building out the core product and working with customers. We don't have a public version like Tableau Public. That's not because we don't want to. It's just that we're working on that core product.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we close out today? No,
I love being here. It's great that the Tableau Public user group is going strong. It's great to see everyone on, because I do think it's really in the community that the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much again for being here, for taking the time to chat with us and give us some of the origin story. I know you're very busy, so we appreciate you today and everything you did on Tableau Public prior to this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie.
Take care.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again and turn it over to Preeti, who's going to be introducing our first Viz of the Day presenter.
Thank you, Lisa. If we could stop share so Harim can share her screen. Okay, while Harim shares her screen, let me quickly introduce her.
All right.
Yeah, we see your screen. Yep. Thank you, Harim. Let me start by saying, so I first, at this year's Tableau keynote, Harim's Viz was pulled up and on the large screen, and I was so excited that Harim was representing us Tableau Public developers who build such cool content and stuff. And her interview was really cool. So if you have not checked it out already, do check her interview on the keynote stage. It is really interesting. So Harim is the founder of Visual Climate, a global AI-powered climate data platform. She works specializing in AI climate analytics and Tableau solutions. Her global CO2 dashboard project aims to transform complex climate data into interactive, accessible insights for professionals worldwide. Thank you so much, Harim, for joining us. I'm really excited for your insights on this today. And welcome. Before I hand it over to you, I just want everybody to know, please feel free to post your questions in chat. And we also have turned on the QA functionalities. So if you have any questions for Harim, feel free to post that. Harim?
All right. So hello, everyone. It's glad to be here. This is Harim. I'm a Tableau ambassador and founder of the Video Climate. I'm really honored to share this moment with you today. And I'm going to talk about how AI and Tableau can see the climate data differently and tell the story differently. The title of my talk is like Revolutionizing Climate Data Reporting with Tableau Agent. I will walk you through how AI and transforming the real analysis and show the actual example for the field. So today's presentation is divided into three major parts. First, why AI is needed in climate data right now. And second, how Tableau Agent overcomes the limitation of like traditional analysis. And finally, how this technology can shape the future of the policy and business as well. So why climate data needs AI? Climate change is a topic that everyone knows, but when we face the actual data like this, it's a different story, isn't it? So the temperature rose by 1 degree. What does that really mean? And these questions comes up easily. Even though we see the disaster in this news, like we feel there's a clear gap between the science and our life experience. So AI can be the tool that bridge the gap. Many climate data analyses are still done manually, including my field, the count list of like spreadsheet, static line chart, and complex formula base. I'm not telling these methods are wrong, but still hard to find a meaningful insight. So the data keeps growing, but are we really getting the actionable insight from it, especially this chart? This is where the Tableau agent comes in. It's not just a helper, but for me, Tableau agent is like an intelligent partner. It reads the fields, understands the context, and builds the complex calculations as well. So through this, we can analyze faster with great precision than before. It's no longer just like a simple visualization we've done before, but we can turn it into like a dashboard that think with us. So what's the most important part? All of this was only done using the Tableau. No external API, no OpenAI code, but with just a Tableau agent, especially trained on the natural language, you can automate like climate analysis and build your alert system at this level as well. And if you know like how to use a Tableau, then it means you're totally ready to step into this AI-driven environment today. So let's go in a little bit detail. Now let's take a look at the AI-powered dashboard I created. You might be able to, you already saw this from the Tableau conference, but the first thing you will notice is like a carbon flag on the left side, right? And then next to it, you will find a series of like a key CO2 indicators here. You can filter by the year and like a compare change over time, but it's more than just like the trend has been up, went up or down, because it includes like a global share, cumulative emissions, and as well as like a detailed KPIs like a CO2 per GDP and CO2 per capita. Why this is really important and matter? Because, for example, if you understand about the CO2 per capita, that could tell how much of the carbon one emission emits from that country, that years, and that's a powerful way to understand each country's policy and gross model as well. So let me show you how we built this stunning carbon plot using the Tableau agent. Actually, I used the radial and trigonometric function to create the circular bar chart. I asked Tableau agent, hey, using the normalization to calculate the bar length, and then Tableau agent really gave me the right calculation. And then can you see the field circle? I really want to display the absolute volume. So ask Tableau agent, if the path equal 1, only display the volume. And then it gave me the path equal 1 using the normalization and polygometrics calculation as well. Honestly, so smart. We cannot ask it from the upfront hey, can you develop from the A to Z? That's impossible. But if you keep like a right input, this is really powerful and strong. Now, we are going to check the polygon metrics or even a mathematical function the Tableau agent can handle. Let's talk about the complex calculation, especially the level of the detail, logic, and how Tableau agent understand it. Unlike a standard chatbot, Tableau agent reads the data fields on the screen, use that context to generate like a full LOD expressions. So whenever we ask question, we need to follow the two major rules, especially to the Tableau agent. First, you need to use a query-based phrasing. You cannot actually ask like essay or ambiguously. And the second one is you have to provide the field name clearly. Not exactly copy paste, but at least parameter, dimension, measure, or any calculation you want to put it on. So once you know this, even the most advanced calculations becomes easy to request. I will share you. So using the data from the 2010 to 2020, I wanted to check the global country like pattern, like 4 types of like LODs, countries where the CO2 emissions increased by the over 70%, we can call it like CO2 spike, and countries where the CO2 decreased, but at the same time GDP also decline, we can call it like a recession or risk case. And the third one is like countries with the GDP growth, but also rising the fossil fuel use. That's like normally like a normal pattern. And the first one is like the left one, CO2 down, but fossil fuel up. What can we actually catch up from this one? So I ask each of these for like question to the Tableau agent and then train it to generate the right LOD expression for each condition. So you can see I asked like a first question and then like a Tableau agent give me the right calculation, right? But the most important thing is like, as you can see, you have to provide a parameter dimension inside of the view of the screen that Tableau agent could understand and then read the screen and then bring it back to the like a right answer. So I asked like a second one, like a risk term, and also Tableau agent provide me the right answer. And I keep asking about the third one and fourth one. The third one is like when the GDP is like grows, but the fossil fuel is also like grows. So can you see this is a kind of like question I asking, and Tableau agent provide me by one based on the question, based on the logic. So I could ask like one by one from 1 to the 2, 1 to the 4, and I want to show you like the last one. I already asked like a one by one sequentially, but I really wanted to ask Tableau agent, can you provide me the 4 combined, like one logic? And then Tableau agent provide me right. So can you see? This is the Tableau agent like developed query, and you can see there's 4 categories, right? I'm going to exclude the necessary part, and we can see the like risk, emission, like CO2 spike, everything we already asked for, right? So we could test like Tableau agent could understand the logic really gently and smartly. So let's test with another visualization test. We already tested Tableau agent could handle like a mathematical and logical function. So what if like a small multiple chart, normally like require like an index logic for the rows and columns. So I only set the number of the columns based on my calculation and ask Tableau agent, hey, based on my column calculation, can you provide me the like dynamic like rows that can using like index logic? And yeah, Tableau agent provide me the really right one, understanding the context. So using the Tableau agent creative field, I could actually compute using to the country and both for like column and rows. And you see, I can make a small multiple chart easily, and also drag and drop the previously built like categories. So you can see this view is like totally developed by the Tableau agent. So what you're looking at is like a real dashboard built in the collaboration with the Tableau agent. I designed the structure, but Tableau agent definitely helped with the calculation and visual logic as well. It's not just like a data summary. Normally, whenever I think about like how to use a Tableau agent, like drag and drop, you have like these 4 categories of like industry and you have static volume. Data are good, but if you really want to leverage your Tableau agent to maximize your capacity, please try and test and run it. It's really helpful and definitely designed by the logic, built with the AI, and powered by the Tableau. All right, so this is how I develop and how I leverage a Tableau agent, especially to develop the dashboard. And you might wonder, what is like visual climate and why this girl is always talking about a like climate change topic? Because visual climate is a kind of the Glover nonprofit initiative powered by the Tableau and led by me. And we are building the world first AI-driven climate dashboard libraries so anyone can understand the global climate data and organization can track their manage and their carbon impact clearly and effectively. But long story short, we are leveraging Tableau agent and like redistribute it to all of the people whoever wanna like use the climate dashboard and any resource as well. So we focus on like a main key 3 actions. So normally we standardize a dashboard using the trusted source like a UNFCCC or World Bank or IFCC data source because so many great data sources there, but it's really hard to get like a right data source, like a right term. So we definitely work on the data source and also using the Tableau agent to automate like insight generation and openly share like all of the method. Tableau agent is like a major pillar. And also building the public infrastructure, like where we can access and learn and reuse the dashboard freely. Yeah, so this is like entire goal to develop like a global open library, like using Tableau agent and Tableau. So yeah, at this point, like some people might ask like this question, and I feel this is also an inevitable question. Even though I'm not an AI developer, but sometimes I ask myself this way, come on, if AI agent is like this good, what's left for us? And many people, my colleagues, my friends, we even talk about it. If AI can do everything, maybe BI is over, but I really don't believe that because we are the ones who define the question and lead the direction and connect the dot. And finally, we can create the story. So AI reveals the pattern really easily, but we are the one who bring the meaning. So for me, Tableau is not outdated as well at all, and it's evolving with the AI. I really appreciate it. So let's trust our potential and let's build the most powerful stories with Tableau. All right.
Thank you so much, Harim. That was a great presentation. And as you might see in the conversation, everybody is excited about how you were able to offload the math to the Tableau agent, how you were able to use Tableau to do the grunt work so you could focus on pulling the design together. My question to a lot of developers is when you're building these dashboards, did you wireframe it? Did you have an idea of what you're going to build, or was it as you were building it using Tableau agent, things evolved?
Definitely wireframe. Yeah, because we cannot develop anything from the scratch, through like a top performing dashboard. So even I just mentioned Tableau agent helped me a lot, but still like human labor, so a lot of work still there and lots of trial and errors. Yeah.
Sounds good. So I have a question from Natalia. She is wondering, how was the ideation or design process for this dashboard?
I'm a big fan of like radial bar chart from the originally. So I want to bring lots of stories and lots of lots of like filter and parameter options that people can see at a glance. So for me, visualization, especially about the climate industry, is revealing the trend. So I really focus on this trending, pattern recognition from the visualization.
And if you don't mind, how long did this dashboard take you?
This dashboard take me like a full week to develop from the scratch to the like final development, but not from like beginner level like 7 days. Lots of iteration, lots of trial, and then like try to work on it. So, yeah.
Right? Like, no, it is so beautifully built. And I think one of the things that a lot of developers struggle is putting it out in the world and saying, okay, I'm done with this. Do you struggle with something similar?
Of course, I always struggle seriously. Oh my God, I always feel reluctant. Can I actually share this one, or is it like meaningful? Because we are like not only a Tableau developer, but we are data people. So we have to keep the balance. I don't like, even with working with the client or with your company, you have to show beautifully, but at the same time, understandably, right? Keeping the balance is really important.
No, cool. And I love the question from Lisa. Where did you get the color palette for this viz from? She loves it so much.
I randomly pick it, but I don't love to share it. No worry.
A random pick is,
Yeah.
I'm surprised you came up with a good color palette. Yes. I think everybody is excited about the half radial chart too. So yeah. And Natalia, I think similar question, how long did this project last? I think you said the build was a week, but there were a number of iterations, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Harim, for joining us and walking us through your awesome build. It was really exciting. I will pass it over to Eric, who can do a swag run for us.
There we go. Now you can hear me. Awesome. All right. So we'll give away a $50 gift certificate to the Tableau store. So I've downloaded everybody who checked in today, who's not a visionary or ambassador that already has plenty of Tableau swag. So
Eric, you're on mute again. I don't know if you knew that.
okay, sorry about that. Jasmine, you're the winner. So I will DM you in here in a bit, but email tableau.public.tug@gmail.com and we will set you up with the gift certificate. So congratulations, and sorry, Izzy, you were so close.
The thing always teases. It's always.
I know. It does that every time to somebody. All right, well, thanks. And up next is Agata and Sebastine.
All right, I'm excited to introduce Sebastine Amede. Sebastine is a 2025 Tableau Next member and was featured as a Tableau Public featured author in 2024. He's earned Viz of the Day 3 times and shows up regularly in the Tableau Weekly Roundup. He uses Tableau as a tool to explore new ideas, share what he's learning, and push the boundaries of business dashboard design. By day, he's a data visualization developer at BarkBus, where he blends technical know-how with creative design to build impactful analytic solutions. Hopefully, we have no more technical issues. Today was full of them. So, Sebastine, I will turn it over to you.
Can you hear me? I don't think I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Do you need me to share my screen? Okay, cool. Okay. Do I start the presentation now? Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Sebastine. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to be showing you guys how I built and developed this dashboard that got featured as a Viz of the day a couple of months ago. I can barely hear anybody here, but if you can hear me, just let me know. And if you can't, just let me know. Okay. The reason why I built this is because I wanted something different, to be honest. If you go through my Tableau Public page, you are going to see a lot of visualizations that has to do with numbers in terms of money. Like, and when I went to the reward fake data, that's where I get most of my data if I want to play with business dashboards. When I went there, I saw the solar energy data set, and it was like, okay, I'm going to do something with this. So I went to Tableau Public to check about who has done something similar, and I haven't seen a lot of Viz concerning solar energy. So it was like more like a new learning opportunity to do something different. This was the initial wireframe. I built this, but I ended up not using that. We all have this experience of having something in mind, but getting something else as the final result. So I built this. I sketched this wireframe for the initial design, and I actually built it on Tableau Public, and it just wasn't what I wanted. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I had to take out a lot of elements. So looking at this wireframe, you can see how boxy it looked. I didn't really want something that has this boxy feeling. I've done a lot of work that has this boxy feeling. So that's what I didn't like about this wireframe. So I decided to take out the boxy feeling. And looking down here, you can see the heat map. The heat map is kind of boxy too, squarish, and it took a lot of space when I actually built it out. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. So I took that out. I took out the filters also and the trend. So during the exploration stage of the dashboard, I was kind of like, okay, I need more inspiration, right? And Ellen is always my go-to Tableau creator, right? She has this way of using colors purposefully and making layouts look really, really good. So I did a lot of exploration on Ellie's page, and I got a lot of inspiration to build the dashboard. Okay, the data came from real-world fake data, which was gotten from nrel.gov, and we did a little modeling for the solar data and the data for the radial chart, and some cleaning was done. So I'm going to take you to Tableau and show you what cleaning was done. Okay, if you can see my Tableau now, I've built a flag. This flag basically shows us if the capacity of a certain site is above the actual output. So basically what this means is that if a site has a capacity of 17, that is to say this site is not supposed to produce more than 17 megawatts of power, right? So I kind of like flagged it and be like, okay, we have to like make this work and clean it. So the way I did this was to build a new calculation, and basically I'm telling Tableau that if the power output is greater than the actual capacity, that is this capacity, then return the capacity. Then we just return 17 in this case. Else return the power. So else return the power. So if it's less than, just return the power. If it's greater than, then return the capacity. This is the new calculated field I used all through the dashboard. So I wanted to achieve a lot of things, but mainly I wanted to show a kind of seasonal performance, and I wanted to track the efficiency of the dashboard of each site, each selected site, and understand the daily and hourly trend for the dashboard. And here is how I was able to achieve that. So if you look at what you have on the screen here, you would see high level numbers, and you see that I've graded out this place. Now the reason I built it out this way is because while these numbers are important, right, I wanted to kind of like have this here, but I wanted to have it in a subtle way. You get? So I didn't want it to steal the attention from the actual um, the actual insights I'm trying to communicate, which is in this pane here. So if I go to the next page, you would see that looking at this part of the dashboard, this is what stands out on the dashboard, because this is what is much more important, right? So I have used a little bit of grayish borders to group this part of the dashboard, right, and this part too, just to give it a little bit of beauty, and kind of like give it a different feel instead of the regular boxy dashboard we are known to have. So while I was building, I mentioned earlier that I had a boxy radial map. So I don't know. I'm going to go back to the charts to check if I'm actually if everybody's actually hearing me. So just give me a minute. If you can hear me, just put that on the chat, please. Okay, cool. All right. So this is basically the radial heat map inspiration. So I have this lamp that is is a solar lamp, right? So it has this circular solar system at the top of it. I don't have the picture here, so I just pulled up a random internet photo, but this is like the perfect example of that. Anyways, so this was the actual inspiration. I looked at this and I was like, okay, I'm going to build something like this. And the first thing that I did was to go to Tableau Public and look for radial charts like this. And a lot of them that I saw will take a lot of time to build, and it will take a lot of data densification, and a lot of data manipulation. And I didn't want to go through all that. Luckily for me, I came across Will Sutton's radial heat map generator. Trust me, it's a lifesaver. It's literally a lifesaver, and it's really, really easy to use. So I used his tool to build this heat map this heat map, and we are going to head over to Tableau, and I will show you how I did this from start to finish. Okay. So this is Will Sutton's tool, and we have different parameters based on what we want to achieve on the video chart. And I'm going to explain what each parameter does. So basically, for our radial chart, right, the numbers of rings is going to represent the month, each month. So this is going to be 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. Then the numbers of segments is going to represent each hour in a day. So if we go back to Tableau, I'm going to show you this just now. Do months. Do sorry, let me see. Sorry. So okay, we're good to go. So bring this up here, and put it here. So here we see that we have 12 months, right? So we'll go back to the retail chart and click on 12. So for the hours, I've already built out the calculation for hours. As you can see here, same calculation. And if we bring this out here, we'll do hours here. And you can see we have 24 hours. And I want you to take note of this 0 here, because this is likely going to cause an issue after downloading the chart, but we are going to fix it. Sorry, downloading the data set, sorry. Okay, so we have 24 here. And so basically this part of the tool is just determines the size and thickness of the ring. So we can easily just play with this. Let's increase this a little bit more. And yeah, so all we need to do is just to download the data. And yep, so okay, so this is the data that we downloaded. I'm just going to open this in Excel and show you what we need to do. Give me a minute. Okay, so I'm going to use this as the other one is not opening, so I'm just going to use this. Anyways, so basically, if you look at what we have on the segment here, you can see that we have, I told you earlier that the segments represent the hours of the day. So let me just increase this, sorry. And okay, I told you earlier that the segments represent the hours of the day, right? So if you look at this, we have 1, 2, 3 going to 24, right? But the issue here is that we don't actually have 24 in our data in Tableau directly. So if we go back to Tableau here, we can see that instead of 24 we have 0, and this 24 represents 12 a.m., which is technically 0, right? But then the tool is going to just returns 24, right? So what we did here is that we just used a simple if calculation here. The reason why we are using if calculation is because we don't want to use a find and search, because if we use a find and search, it might change some 24 numbers here, which will just mess up everything. So what we can do here is to copy this and paste it on top here. Then we can import this in Tableau. So let's take this out. Then we can import this on Tableau. So I'm just going to save this as it's map 12 diamonds. Yes. Let's save it as an Excel file. Okay. So let's go back to Tableau and bring in our data sets. Let's remove this. Let's bring in the one that we actually used. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Let's use this. It's the same thing. Okay. So now here's how we are going to join the data together. So we are going to join the data using the relationship, the month relationship to ring relationship, and hours relationship to segment relationship, which is pretty straightforward. So here we say date parts again. Months. Sorry. Dates. And just copy this and apply. So this is for months. So the months as associated with the ring. So we can link this up together. Okay, so now we have to link up the segment and the hours. Do the same thing here. Segment here. And click on segments. And we're good to go. Okay. So now we have our chart from Will Sutton. Thank you, Sutton, again. Take your x-axis here. Sorry, take your x-axis to the rows and take your y-axis to the column, and turn this to a dimension, and turn this to a dimension. So it's starting to get a little shape. So let's just change this to a polygon. Tableau is going to scream for a little bit, but it's going to work out eventually. Okay, so we are going to move our parts to parts. Let's convert this to a dimension also. We're going to move our ring and segment to detail. So as you can see now, the radial chart is taking shape already, and yeah, this is basically how to build the radial chart. I'm going to do some cleanup and we'll continue from there. Let's hide this header. Let's hide this header. Let's format this a little bit. No grid lines, no zero lines, no thread lines, and we're good to go. So what do we want to see on this chart? This chart is just blank, right? We want to see the peak hours, right? So remember the calculation we did earlier? Just take that calculation up to colors. And yeah, we have our radial heat map. We can further customize this to have any borders. And let me just copy the color from here and put this. Okay. Okay, now we have our map all set up. So this is good, right? But then it doesn't give much information, right? If we cannot identify what is a particular hour, or we cannot identify a particular month, it doesn't really tell a lot of information, right? So what we will do is to try to map out the text for each rings and segments, which is not straightforward, and the calculation is kind of a bit repetitive. So I'm going to cheat for a little bit and take the calculation from the initial chart. Okay, here we have a field called text, and I'm just going to copy this. I will explain what it is in a bit, but just copy this, just follow me. I'll copy this and create a new field text 2 and paste this here. So basically, right, from the radial chart, we are trying to map out these top parts of the chart to show the particular hour, right? So what we're trying to do is, okay, if block ID is equal to 8, 8, then and part equal to 17, then 0, 0. So we are trying to map out, we are trying to get these top parts and other parts for the hours, respective hours. We'll put this here and take this up here. Sorry. We can't do that here on the polygon, so we'll just you right click here, or if you're using a Mac, command here and command click and just drag Y to here. It's going to create two charts for us. So the second chart, we can convert this to a shape, and I'm going to use an invisible shape here. So I'm just going to reduce this. So I'm using an invisible shape here, so nothing actually shows. Yep, and dragging our text here. Okay, so we have our text here, and let's do a dual axis and synchronize the axis. Okay, hide this. Okay, so we have our text here already. The next thing I want to do is to put this in a dashboard and see how we can come up with a way to identify what each month represents, right? Because here we have hours, but then how do we know that this is not January and this is not February and this is March and so on? So we need a way to be able to identify this. So in a new dashboard, I'll use a fixed size here. Increase the width a little bit. Okay, let's take this here. So this needs a little bit of editing, right? So I'm just going to do a little clean up here. Let's change this to Arial and 7. I'll make it a little bit smaller. So yeah, we have our numbers here, and we need a way to be able to identify which month is which month, right? So we're going to do this now. Let's raise this up a little bit. Yep, good. So in a new sheet, I'm going to drag my ring to detail, and I'll convert this to a dimension. So we have 12 here. Change this to circle. Increase the size. So basically, each of these represents the month from January to December. I've built a calculation to that actually calculates this. So let me just cheat again. Okay, bring month here. So it's actually a simple calculation. So just if else statement, we can just be doing that here. So it creates the calculated field and call this months, and this is the calculation here. Months for ring. Okay, this is good. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is to take this to text. You can see all the months are displayed here and they're showing, but then they are not in order, right? So what we can do now is to kind of sort it. So we go to sort here, and we are going to be sorting this by ring. So by field and looking for ring. So just type in ring here, and yeah, we have our sort January to December. With a little bit of formatting, we can do 7 here, and we can do Arial here. Okay, and take this to the middle. All right, so I will need the colors of this too. So let's just take this here and pick this. Sorry. Okay, so we are going to take the power again, right? To be able to highlight by months too. So we're going to take the power to colors too. And here we have it. And just edit the colors, and yeah, maybe add a little bit of border to show clarity. Sorry. Okay, this is good. So we have our rings and we have our radial charts. We can bring the ring to the table. Hide the title and hide this. Change this entire view. Just put this here. So now the question is, how do this relate to this? Now that is where highlight actions comes in play. So basically, we are going to try to make Tableau highlight this ring on hover. So on the dashboard part, you go to actions, add the new action, highlights. So let's call this radial highlights. Click on this sheet. Okay, we want the source sheet to be the actual rings, that is the small circles, and the target sheet to be the radial charts. And we want this to run on hover. So when you hover over the small rings, it's going to highlight on the actual dashboard. And okay, this doesn't work now because we need to add a field here. So you remember the month for rings field. So we'll just go to this all part and put in the month for rings to detail, and they should work now. So as you can see, we can easily know which month is which month by just hovering over the dashboard, which is pretty cool. Okay, so going back to this new dashboard, there's a lot of functionality here, but I'm just going to, I already highlighted this. I'm just going to like briefly talk about this. So here we use, instead of using the regular filter, you remember the initial wireframe, I had a filter pane. So what I did is that instead of using that filter pane, I've used the bar charts to filter the whole dashboard. So we don't have any actual traditional filter here. So you can easily change and change between different sites, and we can get whatever insights we need to get from that. Okay. So that is all for my presentation. If you have any question, just let me know.
It was so great. Thank you, Sebastian. I don't know if you were able to keep an eye on
so
the
for some weird reason, I still can't hear you, Agatha.
Oh.
But I was able to hear Harim when she was talking. And
weird. Preeti, do you want to get on and see if he can hear you? It's weird that he can't hear me.
No, I don't think he was able to hear me either.
Do I log out and come back in?
Um,
I think I should go out and come back in. I don't know.
So it
Can you
sounds
hear me, Sebastian?
Yeah, I can hear Eric. Yeah, I can hear Eric.
Okay. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat. So my first comment about it was, you put a lot more effort into your radial chart than Harim did in hers.
I mean, if I had AI to do that for me, I'll gladly use AI. So yeah.
Yeah, lots of comments about how it has to get ugly before it gets better.
Yeah.
It's always a problem for me pushing through with Tableau. Is like, what did I do? I just blew it up. And then you go, no, you're not there yet. Just keep going. I don't see any other questions. So does anybody else have a question for Sebastian?
I don't have a question, but I do just want to thank you for introducing me to that radial heat map generator tool. I don't know if you can hear me.
No questions.
Nope.
I still can't hear Lisa.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said thanks for introducing her to the generator heat map tool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
I'm definitely going to go out. too. So
It's a pretty cool tool. You just need to have it on your tab and you can use it anytime.
thank you. Well, with that, I'll thank everybody for, oh, can you throw up the slides, Lisa? We got a couple more announcements to go through. I'll let you do that. So, this is Blueprint for Agentic Analytics. If you want to learn more about using AI with Tableau, check out these resources from Tableau. And then we've also want to give a shout out to the Tableau community Slack. So if you're not on there, please join up. This is the place to communicate with everybody in Tableau, in the Tableau data fam. So join up and let's build the momentum. And then finally, there is an event next week on Thursday, the 24th. It's a Data Fam Live where they're going to be exploring agentic analytics. So if you're not full of AI yet, want to get some more, join us on the 24th and learn more. But other than that, oh, Tableau Ambassador nominations. Yes, they are due. Well, they're not due June 20th. They started June 20th and they're due July 25th. Yes, go out to Tableau Public. There will be a link there to nominate an ambassador. So if you really see Vizes that you really like on Tableau Public, nominate the person that created it so they can be a Tableau ambassador too, or nominate yourself because you're pretty awesome too. So next month we have a sports viz related tug. So Mo Wooten is going to start us off in the spotlight. He is one of the leaders of the Sunday Sports Viz team. And then we'll have Bo McCready showing off his attendance by teams viz of the day. And we'll have Damala Latipo showing off his Euro UFA winners viz of the day. So it's going to be a great time. So join us next month on the Tableau Public TUG. And one last slide, next. Yeah, if you want your own viz of the day, build something that's timely and topical, highlights new Tableau features, spotlights the diverse Tableau community, includes a novel chart type or Tableau trick, and communicates a key insider story. And as always, make it visually stunning as we've seen in our two vizes today. And hopefully we'll feature you on a future version of the Tableau Public TUG. And that should be it. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you hanging around. And we'll see you next month for another great Viz of the Day TUG.